So, they're saying I grew up with just my mom? As if that must have been really tough, I thought, my chest tightening with frustration. And now they're saying our home wasn't good enough for their son to marry into? I was sitting with my fiancé Michael's parents, and they were saying some truly cruel things. They weren't just mocking me, they were insulting my mom too. It was unbearable. How could they treat me this way? How could they belittle everything I've worked for and my mother, who raised me on her own? I knew then that I couldn't just accept their judgment. I wasn't going to marry their son just to please them. No, I would refuse. I'd show them how it feels to be disrespected like this. My name is Emma. I'm 27, and it's just been me and my mom for as long as I can remember. My dad passed away in an accident when I was little, and after that, it was just the two of us. My mom never cried. She was always smiling. Even when I was heartbroken, she worked so hard to put me through university and help me pursue my dream of studying law. Now, I work at a big company, keeping busy with my career. Michael, my fiancé, is 30, 3 years older than me. We've been together for a year and a half. After meeting at work, he proposed, and even though I was unsure, I said yes, hoping it would make my mom happy. Today, we were supposed to meet his parents to discuss our wedding, and I was a bundle of nerves. "Do I look okay?" I asked, fidgeting. "Don't worry, Emma, you always stress too much," Michael reassured me. "But you said your parents are important. They're wealthy, right?" "Yeah, it's more about my granddad," he said. "He was really successful. The family's doing well because of him." I glanced nervously at the gift I'd picked out from a fancy store. "Do you think they'll like it?" "It's fine," Michael said. "What matters is that we brought something." But I was still anxious. Michael seemed calm, but I could feel my heart racing. As we drove toward his parents' house, I saw the massive mansion that took my breath away. "Wow," I whispered, overwhelmed. Michael chuckled proudly. Granddad was something. "Now, let's get inside. They're waiting." We quickly entered the house, where the large door swung open by itself. His parents greeted us warmly. "Hello, Emma. We've heard so much about you," Michael's mom said, her tone sweet. "It's so nice to meet you." "Nice to meet you too," I said, trying to hide my nerves. Her calm demeanor helped me relax a bit. Michael's dad chimed in. "So, you work with Michael? That's impressive. A woman in that company." "Huh?" The term "a woman" bothered me, but I smiled politely. "Thank you." As the conversation continued, I started to feel more uncomfortable. His dad spoke proudly about their wealth, almost as if it was something to brag about. "You're really brave for agreeing to marry Michael," Michael's dad said. "Not everyone would feel comfortable with such a difference in status. Some people might feel intimidated," his mom added. "But you seem so, well, grounded." I wasn't sure how to respond, but before I could say anything, his mom went on. "I mean, my family wasn't rich, but I'm quite attractive, don't you think?" I always thought I made a good match for Michael's dad. I wasn't sure if she was being sarcastic or sincere, but Michael didn't seem to care. In fact, he started teasing me, joining in with his parents. "Emma's not the most beautiful, but she's good at her job. I think she'll make a great wife. She's well respected at work, especially for a woman. She'll keep up with me," Michael said, his tone light but dismissive. I couldn't believe this was happening. He had always seemed more composed when it was just the two of us, but around his parents, he acted like a completely different person. Suddenly, his dad asked, "Have you met her parents yet?" "Of course, I've already handled it. Emma's parents are pretty ordinary, though. No dad, just her mom. She seems like any other mom." The way he said it made my heart sink. I I grew up with just my mom, I said, trying to steady my voice. My dad died when I was little, and my mom raised me on her own. Aw, Michael's dad said, raising an eyebrow. So you grew up in a single-parent household? Yes, that's right, I replied, the weight of his judgment pressing down on me. I still live with my mom. When I finished explaining, Michael's dad looked thoughtful, while his mom seemed visibly upset. They began whispering to each other, as though having a private conversation. Is everything okay? I asked cautiously, confused by their reactions. Michael's mom suddenly spoke up. This could be a problem. What do you mean? Michael asked, clearly concerned. Maybe you should reconsider marrying her, his mom suggested coldly. I could find you a girl from a better background. What are you saying? I was stunned. Michael's mother fixed me with an icy stare. A girl raised by a single mother isn't suitable for Michael, isn't that right? She added sharply. Michael's dad, who had been quiet until then, nodded in agreement. Exactly. Despite her career success, coming from a single-parent household is a problem. I've warned you many times to be cautious about who you marry. I felt like I was being judged like some defective item. Hearing such harsh words from my fiancé's parents, whom I had just met, was completely unexpected. I was left speechless. Then Michael said something that made my heart sink. Oh, so she doesn't even meet the standards I thought she might, he said, almost carelessly. I thought I could do better, but I'm already 30. Finding someone else would be a hassle, so I'll settle for Emma. Michael! I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Don't we want to get married because we love each other? He laughed loudly, throwing out those harsh words without hesitation. You didn't really think I was marrying for love, did you? He smirked. All I want is a wife who can manage the house like a maid. I can't love someone with a family background like yours. His mom chimed in, agreeing with his cruel words, and even Michael's dad nodded, laughing mockingly. I couldn't believe it. I thought Michael was the one who genuinely wanted to marry me for love. I was completely speechless. I struggled to process everything, but as my emotions built, Michael's parents continued their verbal attack. A single-mother household? It's audacious of you to even think about marrying my son when you come from such a disgraceful background. Absolutely not. Our son cannot marry someone raised in such a low-class environment. That's when all the emotions I had been holding in reached their breaking point. Instead of shock, I felt a surge of anger at the insults aimed at my life and my beloved mother. I couldn't contain it any longer. I slowly raised my head and calmly addressed them. Fine, let's cancel the wedding, and I request that you leave immediately. Not only were Michael's parents shocked by my statement, but even Michael seemed taken aback. Emma, what are you suddenly saying? Are you asking me to leave? I don't understand. Why are you saying this? Michael's parents, however, began causing a scene. We don't have to take orders from someone like you, his mom shouted. Your family background is poor, and your attitude is terrible. What do you think you're doing? Be quiet. I slammed my hand on the desk, standing up. Do you know who owns the land this house is built on? What are you talking about? Michael's dad asked, confused. This land was inherited from my father, I said calmly. From your father? Can you prove that this land is yours? Do you have any evidence? Michael's father demanded. He seemed to panic when I asked for proof. They clearly hadn't checked. What's the problem? If you own the land, there should be proof, right? Like inheritance documents? He stammered. We don't have anything like that, Michael's dad admitted, sounding flustered. This house was built by my father, and the land belonged to him from the start. That's how he could build it. Michael's mother interjected, trying to dismiss the situation. First of all, what are you talking about, Emma? It's impolite for someone like you to discuss someone else's property. Stop it. Just because my parents don't approve of our marriage, don't start making baseless accusations. I wasn't backing down. It seems you're unaware of the facts. So let me explain. Your grandfather only had a lease agreement with my grandfather. Lease agreement? Michael's father looked confused. I've never heard of such a thing. I was frustrated but explained, hoping they would understand. A lease agreement means you were allowed to use the land. Right now, you're using it for free, but when the agreement ends, it goes back to us. So, basically, your grandfather was just borrowing the land temporarily from mine. No, that can't be true. Michael's father sputtered. You're lying. We've checked the contract. It's valid. It's ours. I stood firm. Are you calling me a liar? It's the truth. And we have proof. I'm not making this up. Michael's father was stunned, looking flustered by the truth that had come to light. No, it can't be true. You're just making that up. He insisted, but his voice lacked conviction. You come from a single-parent family, and your dad passed away. That doesn't matter. I said calmly. My mom's father owned a lot of land and lent it to many people. We've been able to live thanks to his support. How much land? Michael's father asked, confused. I studied law in college. I explained. My mom and I were looking into our land leases, and that's when we discovered that the land you're living on is also owned by my grandfather. Do you get it now? The three of them were shocked into silence, struggling to process what I had just revealed. I decided to break it down for them. Considering this, could you please vacate the land soon? According to the contract, the free rental period ended a while ago. I believe my mom sent you a notice beforehand. A notice? Michael's father stammered. We never got anything. Right, Mom? He turned to his wife, searching for confirmation. She looked pale, and after a long pause, she finally spoke. I didn't know. There was an envelope coming every month, but I didn't understand what it was for, so I thought it was junk mail and threw it away. Could that be it? That was the notice, I said, smiling. We've been sending notices for over 2 years now. So, what will you do? Pay 2 years' worth of back rent, or leave? You need to decide. Michael's father panicked. Wait. Hold on. You can't just bring this on us out of nowhere. Out of nowhere? We've been asking you to do something for a while now. I replied. Please, make a decision. He kneeled, his desperation evident. We've been facing huge losses in the stock market. Our assets are minimal. We were counting on Michael's support, but there's no room for leniency anymore. I sighed, already feeling done with the situation. I had planned to settle this amicably if the marriage went ahead and if I received an apology about the notices. But since you insulted my mother, I've had enough. I'm sorry, but I can't let you continue to stay here for free. With that, Michael's parents started trembling, and even Michael, who had been calm until then, began to change his tune. He saw it as the right moment. Hey, Emma, can't you stop this now? I'm going to marry you. So please. He looked at me with desperation. What are you saying now? So what? Let's just forget about this. If we get married, there won't be any issues with the land, right? Is this guy for real? I thought, disgusted. I can't imagine marrying someone so disrespectful. At this point, I don't need a man who insults his fiancé alongside his parents. I'm sorry, but I have to decline. I said firmly. I refuse to become part of a family with such a conceited man like you and your naive parents. Michael looked like he was on the verge of tears. Please forgive me, he pleaded. What happened next didn't need much explanation. Despite boasting about their wealth, Michael's parents were struggling financially. They couldn't even afford to pay the land taxes for 2 years up front. Their financial situation came to light, and eventually, They had to give up the land to cover the overdue taxes. They tried to maintain their lifestyle for a while, but it quickly became clear that their money had dried up. They're now living in a small apartment as a family of 3. Word about the entire ordeal spread quickly within the company, and Michael lost his reputation. His parents, still reliant on his income, now have to face the consequences. As for Michael, he occasionally sends me romantic emails, but I never respond. I have no feelings for him whatsoever, and I doubt I'll ever trust him again. He's become the subject of gossip at the company, and secretly, I hope he continues to struggle through this tough situation.